Summit 1973, ready 22, over.
4-5, engage.
4-5, shoot.
It was an explosive week for HMS Argyll on exercise off the Malaysian coast.
Gun controller BCO, end of fire mission, uniform Tango 1003, 4-5, cease firing.
Exercise Bersama Lima is run every year. It's part of the Five Powers Defence Arrangements, and we're here in order to reassure our friends, allies and partners in this region of the UK's commitment to peace, security and prosperity in this important part of the world.
The Five Powers Defence Agreement came about in 1971, a result of the end of the Anglo-Malayan Defence Agreement. It saw the UK, Malaysia, Singapore, New Zealand and Australia agree to consult each other in the event of a threat or attack on the Malay Peninsula, though it doesn't guarantee any form of intervention.
That is very much a national decision to make, but we do have a commitment to this region. An arrangement is in place, and that will be for government to decide then whether they wish to honour that arrangement. Our business is to train and prepare for that eventuality.
So that's HMS Argyll's wake-up call. It's now 4:30 in the morning, and everybody's got about 45 minutes to get up and ready for the final part of Exercise Bersama Lima 18. By 5:15, the ship's company were at action stations.
Hatch to action stations, hatch to action stations. Assume CBR DC state 1, condition Zulu. Hold on.
Sailing from Tioman Island, the exercise first throws in a threat of mines. To stay safe, Argyll and the task group sailed down a 1,000-yard channel.
We conducted a coordinated departure from our task force anchorage. We're presently heading through the mine-swept channel, which is a channel about 500 metres wide. Later on, we can possibly anticipate getting attacked from a surface unit as part of the exercise, and then once we're clear of the mine-swept channel, we'll be proceeding out to our anti-submarine warfare holding boxes for the rest of the day.
This is the beginning of the final phase of Exercise Bersama Lima in the South China Sea. HMS Argyll is leading one of two task groups off the coast of Malaysia in this war exercise. It's designed to test everything the 5 participating nations have learned in the last 2 weeks.
Whilst it's called WarX, it has developed as an exercise to become an operation, specifically Satu Pasukan, which means one team. And what it is a culmination of all the various warfare disciplines that have been practiced over the last week. So they all come together in one war scenario. So rather than coping with one single discipline, which might be anti-air or anti-submarine, the idea of this phase is to bring all of those phases together into one big war scenario.
CB19 now at green 110, tracking in towards Europe and engaging.
And as predicted, the crew are kept busy. First, they need to deal with a simulated fast attack boat shooting at the ship. The enemy here, played by Malaysia.
This morning we were hit with a small, what we call FAC, fast attack craft, so really close into land, comes out of nowhere, drives straight at you with potentially terrorists on board or just firing weapons at you, so that tests our upper deck crews and reactions there, and then it goes all the way through to long-range, high-end warfare, missile attacks and submarines firing torpedoes at us.
HMS Argyll works through the simulated attacks. The ship's company is in defence watches, effectively split manning to ensure the ship is at the top of its game. And this is how they'd operate in the event of a real attack.
Cover with bulldogs on.
Defence watches for us is 6 on, 6 off, so myself and 3 other ABs will be working about on the bridge, so one will be steering, one will be on tactical comms, communicating with other ships as well. Compared to like our operational sea training that we did before we left, it's been pretty much, probably not on par with that, but it's certainly been busy.
As Argyll hunts a submarine and deals with the threat of air attacks, the crew face another 36 hours in defence watches. It's the first time in several years that the UK has committed a warship to the twice-yearly event.
We haven't been able to send a frigate here for a couple of years now, but we're very pleased that we are able to do so this year. We've achieved a number of firsts during this particular exercise. For example, night naval gunfire support firings have been one particular highlight. But there have been a real step change in the complexity of the exercise over the years as it evolves year upon year. And we're very pleased to be partaking in that as it does so. It's been a very good exercise.
In the past, it's been called a low-key but important alliance, especially so in front of an emerging China exerting dominance in the South China Sea. Over the last year, the UK has had 3 warships in the Asia-Pacific, a sign Britain is reopening its ties in the region. From the UK to Australia in a matter of minutes. 206 Flight's Wildcat makes her way to HMS Stuart, a Royal Australian Navy Anzac-class frigate playing war games in the South China Sea. At action stations, HMS Stuart's ship's company battle through the simulated threats and attacks.
AO flash, assess aircraft turning inbound from the north.
Exercise Bersama Lima also involves ships from Malaysia, Singapore, New Zealand and the UK, all playing their part in an exercise which looks set to gain even more importance over the coming years.
This year our commitment is 750 people, of which HMS Stuart is contributing 186. It's been fantastic. We've had a great time. So we've been here for a week and a half already. Prior to that, we were in Singapore for a week. A nice opportunity to establish relationships with our Singaporean, Malaysian, English and of course New Zealand counterparts. And the sea phase has been a fantastic opportunity to work with them in a realistic scenario. We've inherited a lot of our traditions, yes, but also our operating procedures from the Royal Navy. So it's actually relatively easy for us, but because we do it so far and few between, it's a great opportunity and it just makes sure that we re-establish those connections on a personal level as much as on an operational level.
The ship is deployed until December, and while she is an Australian ship, there's a lot more Britain about her than first meets the eye.
Yeah, we've just got a couple of the AGs running, currently propelling in DE mode with the GT at 10.
I'd done 12 years in the RN and came over here on exchange in 2010. I was lucky enough to spend 6 months over here, and then I moved over here permanently in 2012. It's the way of life outside the Navy that's the main reason we came here, but the Navies are very similar, we work well together, and there's lots of comparisons you can make between the two.
I came out to Australia as an exchange officer on their Seahawks, and I'm on the MH-60 Romeo helicopter at the moment, and I've been fortunate enough to be deployed with Flight 7 on board HMS Stuart for a Southeast Asia deployment. Done a couple of big exercises to spend some time off Northern Australia, and then we crossed the line a couple of weeks ago. Now we've just been doing Exercise Bersama Lima, plenty of flying, nice to be in some hot weather, yeah, and it's been good fun.
The exercise is all part of the Five Powers Defence Agreement, offering defence of the Malay Peninsula. It's involved all 5 nations, 11 ships, 1 submarine and 3,500 service personnel. Sembawang in Singapore. HMS Argyll becomes the 3rd Royal Navy frigate to dock at the port in 12 months.
Every step of the way, Argyll has been known as the ship that goes out and does its business without any fuss and delivers on operations. A fighting warship, and that's what you are. And to your credit.
The day began at sea, as the last 2 weeks of war games drew to a close. It was then full steam ahead to reach port by mid-afternoon.
We're currently making 21 knots through the water. For us, the exercise is now over, and we've got about 2 hours to get us down to the start of the Singapore Straits. From there, we'll be conducting a straight transit at 21 knots to get us round up towards Singapore, and then a further 2.5 hours to take us nice and slowly up the river to Sembawang Naval Base, which is on the top of Singapore Island.
The ship deployed from her home port in Plymouth in June this year. First, a stint in the Gulf, before reaching the Asia-Pacific in September. For some of the younger members of the crew, this is their first deployment.
It's exactly what I thought it'd be, actually. You know, lads are really good. Everyone has a good crack. You know, the stops are amazing. The work's full on, but it's what I expected it to be. The beginning was quite good. We had a few good stops there. Then we had quite a lot of time at sea, which was, it's part of the trip really. But no, it's been great. Been really enjoying it.
Oh yeah, it's been absolutely top notch. Yeah, really enjoyed it. The start of it was a little bit slow. The Gulf was all right. We went to a few decent stops to start off with. So Jib, Suda Bay was absolute class, and then Egypt, all the way to like Jeddah and places like that.
HMS Argyll will now be alongside for a month while the ship undergoes some planned maintenance. The ship's company are also in line for a little bit of time off.
Everyone on board who is away for the full deployment is now entitled to 2 weeks off.
You must be looking forward to going home?
100%. Family's obviously missing me. I've got a game of rugby as well, which I'm looking forward to. A very long 4 months, but it's been worth it because of the stops we've stopped in. My favourite stop so far is definitely Singapore.
HMS Argyll is now midway through her 9-month stint, not due to return to UK waters until the spring.